In a matter of days, world leaders will once again sit down at the negotiating table with Iran over its nuclear program, as critics say the country continues to defy agreements and sanctions. Did you know some U.S. investment firms are doing business with Iran, currently listed as a state sponsor of terrorism? How can you be sure that your money isn't being used to fund terror? Mark Langerman is CEO and Managing Director of Empowerment Financial Group. He joins us now live to talk about it. Mark, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Good to see you, Shannon. Thanks for having me today.
All right, how widespread is this problem?
Well, it's very widespread. It's been 5 years since I found out about it, that companies were doing business with state sponsors of terrorism, Iran, Syria, North Korea, Sudan, etc. And at that point, there were about 400 companies that we knew of globally doing business with those countries. Now it's close to 600. And that, you know, if we look at that, that's why it's even more important today that people are aware of this, we educate them, and they can take some action by divesting and not investing in those companies, send them a message, hold them accountable that it's not okay to do business with state sponsors of terrorism.
Well, how can investors start doing some homework and find out where their money may be going, somewhere that frankly would concern a lot of them?
Well, there's not a lot of information out there on it for various reasons. We could probably do a whole show on that. They can look at our website, www.patriotfund.com. They can go to terrorfreeinvesting.com, find out a lot more information. We have some reports we can send them as well. Really, that's where it's got to start. From what I know and have known for a few years now, we're the only company in the country that's profiling, that's raised the profile on this issue, that companies are doing business with state sponsors of terrorism, and we think it's wrong.
And so how do you ensure, by putting together your own investment vehicles, that you know, folks can know that where they're putting their money is a safe place, that it's not backing Iran or any of these other state sponsors?
Well, I'm sorry, can you ask me a question again, please?
Sure. I just want to, how can investors know that you all have done your work, and how are you sure that the companies you're involved with aren't involved in funding in any way any of these state sponsors of terrorism?
Okay, another great question. So we have all of our research, first of all, it's audited. In addition to that, all of the companies are contacted through our research vendor to, you know, verify the information that they have either boots on the ground, they're selling products into those countries, they are financing those countries. So it's all got at least 2 levels of verification that it's happening.
Anything that American investors can do to actually use their cash, their dollars, to put pressure on these different places that are facing sanctions and maybe influence their behavior in any way?
Absolutely. So you know, let's just give you a real example here. Iran right now imports about 40% of their refined petroleum products. So they even though they're one of the largest oil reserves in the world, they can't produce enough refined petroleum to run their economy. These companies that do business in Iran and help them to build refining capabilities, things along those lines, as Iran then gets more independent, energy independent, they won't have to, when they buy right now their refined petroleum from other countries, and they're paying a premium for that. If they can do it themselves, they can not only pay less, they'll actually be able to export it. And what does that do? It gets money into their coffers. And what do they do with money in their coffers? They build their nuclear programs, they support terrorism, things along those lines. So there's a very direct link between American investor behavior and what's going on in terrorist countries. They cannot, those countries cannot survive. They have no internal financial infrastructure. They need Western help, and we're trying to put a stop to that.
All right. Mark Langerman, the Director and CEO of Empowerment Financial Group, thank you very much for sharing this important information.
Thank you.